Hello and welcome. My name is Craig Guymon. In this section of the video, I'd like to cover the compare capability within Binalyze Air. The compare capability allows two different collections or acquisitions from a system to be compared to one another. This starts with having a baseline acquisition from a system. This can be done in two ways. Either from the organizational grouping called tags within your Binalyze Air platform. In this example, I'll use my Apache servers example. But this could be any group, IAS servers, accounting, finance, HR, C-level, any number of different logical groupings. And I can create a baseline of all those systems, or I can drill directly into an endpoint, and from there, click on the compare capability, and then click on the acquire baseline. I've already done that, and you can see that in this particular case, it only takes a few seconds to do that. So I'll go ahead and click on that now, just so you can see how that's done. This will create a task within the Binalyze Air platform, and about 30 seconds later that baseline acquisition will be ready to use for comparison purposes. As that's currently assigning that to this endpoint right now, let's go ahead and take a previously acquired acquisition and compare it and show you how to use that capability. If I go back a few months and I choose, for example, an acquisition of full acquisition, I can select it, and I can select a baseline acquisition that I did 15 minutes ago that took 30 seconds, and I can say select and perform the compare capability. This creates yet another task. This task then shows up in my task list and allows me to then look at the results of that in just a few seconds. You can see that that's now completed. Once that's completed, I can click on the View Report option, and this will allow me to see a very specific set of additions, changes, and deletions from this system from key areas of that particular endpoint, including everything from the system level, such as DNS changes, network adapters, any changes within the installed applications, firewall rules, drivers, service autoruns, scheduled task autoruns, and registry autoruns. By way of example, I can click on Added, and I can add firewall rules. And I can see any added firewall rules that were added to this system between the time that this was originally compared, which is 4 months ago, and the acquisition that I performed just a few hours ago. I can drill down into each of those, and of course there's no starting point because these were additions. So I can now see the create dates, the create times, and all the details associated with those firewall rule changes. The same thing is true of changes, where a firewall rule already existed, and I have the ability to scroll down through this list, and for example, I can look at the Armory socket server and see exactly when it was modified the firewall rule or added the firewall rule for an allow, and it changed the firewall rule a little bit later. Anything within this list can be expanded, and you can look at all the individual details. This is also true of deletions. So if, for example, an application was added or deleted, I can go down into the applications and I can see these applications were deleted. These applications were changed in some way or another, probably upgraded in many cases, or these applications were added. I can also add additional filters in this list, and I can look at both installed applications and firewall rules, and I can see them both together in the changed or deleted list together if I would like. This concludes this section of the video.